With 2 million YouTube subscribers, a massive physique and an extrovert personality to match, our guest today is no stranger to attention. Growing up in a poor neighborhood, a family tragedy sent him on a downward spiral. After serving 7 years in San Quentin prison, bodybuilding saved his life, and he embraced a new passion for money and muscle. Today, he's on a mission to inspire and motivate, spreading a message of fitness, well-being, and never being afraid to be different. Please join me in welcoming entrepreneur, musician, and star of both film and television, Cali Muscle, to the Escape Your Limits podcast.
Before the interview, I sort of went into the gym and I knew what I was up against, so I thought I'd do some, squats and curls, just so I didn't look completely crazy next to you on camera.
You looking good.
And he was actually wearing a tank top.
Oh, that would have been dope. Yeah.
Both of you guys could just be flexing.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. And see, that's the thing. I was looking at your videos and thumbnails. Like our thumbnail for this, I want to make it pop.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I looked at, and that's what I was telling Helena before I came. I was looking at your channel, and I want to tweak a few things to help you out on there.
Thank you.
Yeah. But
we're new to
thumbnails
this.
on YouTube and so is everything.
Really?
I did some shitty videos, but when I do a video, my first thought is my thumbnail.
Really?
Yeah, because that's what captivates everybody's attention, and so that's why I was able to, the guy who did my life story, he ahead of his time, Strength Project, and he just showed me everything. You know what I mean, far as that goes.
Right.
Thumbnails, titles, and stuff like that. And so, now I just share it with everybody I encounter that's on YouTube or social media.
And you got millions of views on your YouTube channel. Like some of your videos have got millions of views.
I'm at almost 500 million.
Really?
Uh-huh. But I've been on there 11 years.
Okay.
But I didn't take it serious until maybe 5 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, when the life story, the documentary came out.
Is it just about views, or can you actually monetize YouTube? Is it do you make money from that, or is it just a brand thing?
YouTube is my, I want to say, main income source.
Really?
Yeah. You got to think every million views you get anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000.
Really?
So a person like me been on there 11 years. All those old videos, I accumulate up to 10 million views a month. 10 million. And that, to me, that's nothing. I want to get up to like at least 30 million a month. Well, so that's my goal with YouTube.
So that must, if you think about it then, 30 million, and then compare that to a lot of traditional media, like in the past, television, you're like a major TV show, aren't you, in terms of your audience?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of work though.
Yeah, I bet. But is it just you, or you? Yeah. It's just you.
Just
a one-man media company.
Yeah. I told you I learned how to do everything: Photoshop, edit, cameras, everything. Wow, but the hardest part now for me is just keeping content going.
Yeah.
Like new, especially with fitness. It's like, damn, I already did an arm workout. I already did. But what people don't realize, and I did a video with the Hodge twins, and people was asking them, "What, you guys do the same videos, workout?" They're like, "Well, look at this. We get 1,000 to 2,000 new followers a day. Those people that didn't know about us. So you could do repetitive type videos, and it makes sense."
How does it feel? Because you must have a lot of influence on a lot of people. Like if you say something, you've got people that are fans. What is it like having that power? Because I guess you can easily abuse that if you've got the wrong intentions, can't you?
Well, without a doubt. So for me, that's why that's a good question. But I'm gonna start from the beginning. God made me a leader from birth. And all my time growing up, I was a football, wrestling, track captain. So I was always in a leadership position. When I was a youth pastor. I had my own Sunday. Every fourth Sunday was my day to preach.
Really?
To grown people. Then when I go to prison, well, before prison.
How old was you when you was a youth?
You passed like 10, 12.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so I knew the Bible in and out. I read it word for word. So then when I go to college, I was in the fraternity, college fraternity. Go to prison. I was a Muslim for a few years. I ran the Muslims. Then I was in the prison gang, ran them. So I always been in a leadership position. And the most one that really was pertinent was the prison gang.
Really?
Because I had people's lives in my hand.
Yeah.
Like I can make one call that cause a riot, that people get killed, won't make it home to their families, and so that was serious business, you know. So
you've always had the responsibility of people's
yeah.
lives.
And that's what I tell my followers. Like I always had to have people best interests. You know, I had to think about people's lives and safety, and that's why people don't get why I don't speak about drugs and certain supplements and you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like there's a few things you said in that sentence, and there's probably a lot of people who may listen to this who have not maybe come into contact with you, and I want to make sure they, you know, get the full story. So like you were great at school. You got a scholarship, so you were a great student, weren't you?
After the 9th grade, what happened with that was I had an older brother,
Right.
genius. He didn't get less than a 4.1, 4.2 GPA, grade point average, all A's. So I had that example growing up as a kid. This guy was, I'm talking about, he was dressed immaculate. It's in the book too. Dressed immaculate, was just a perfectionist. So I'm like, dang, he was like idolized by my parents, kid, everybody. Just a genius. And so what happened was my 9th grade year, I was shooting dice. I was on the football team, but they didn't let me play, and that pissed me off. I said, I'm about to start working. I'm about to come back buff, and I'm going to just show these people. You know what I mean? Then my mother, she was a workaholic, so she worked as a nurse. And, you know, I wanted to prove to her that I was just as good as my older brother.
Right.
And so after my 9th grade year, my brother went to college, San Luis Obispo, Cal Poly, on a full academic scholarship for electrical engineering. So I'm like, man, I got to try to do good like him. So he didn't play sports. So I became like this all-city type guy. It's football, wrestling, track, and I had a 3.83 GPA. But I couldn't get that 4.0 like him because I wasn't that great at math. And so, yeah, I went to college. What would happen, big transition in my life, and people that read the book will see that my brother killed himself my senior year. Yeah, January, my senior year of high school. And so
this is your older brother you looked up to.
This is the only man I ever looked up to in my life. And I'm talking about, we was so bonded and connected to each other. If he had a problem, I didn't want him to, I would fight for him, and, you know, that type stuff. And yeah, he killed himself, man. It was just a transition in my life. You know what I mean? If he wouldn't have did that, I would have been a different person.
Really?
Well, man, so that's when I became kind of angry. I became an introvert, antisocial, but driven like crazy. So I got a full scholarship to Fresno, academic and athletic. They recruited me as a strong safety, and I got there in 1993, but I was angry that my brother killed himself. So I was in the gym like crazy and practicing like crazy, running heels. But during all that, I got bad migraines.
Really?
Well, so I used to get migraines to the point where they was like a stroke.
Wow.
Yeah, it was another football player. I think he a sports host right now. I forgot his name, but he played for San Diego. He used to get them the same way. So what happened was my 10th grade year, I came back angry. I'm talking the biggest running back. I was on junior varsity. The biggest running back on varsity, I would go head up with him at practice, even if we wasn't supposed to hit. Like they like no contact day, I would just go head up, pick them up, and so I went from, this what got me into bodybuilding fitness. I was 99 pounds in my 9th grade year. They didn't let me play one single down. I was just riding the fucking bench the whole season. So I said, okay, I'm gonna prove to them. So I read a magazine, I think it was Muscular Development, and Arnold Schwarzenegger said he ate 6,000 calories a day. That's what I did. I hate, to this day, I'm not a foodie. I don't like food.
No.
I force-fed myself. I'm talking to the point where I was gagging it. In 90 days, I gained 40 pounds of muscle.
Gee.
People was like, what the hell? And then, you know, it wasn't big talks of steroids then, or nothing. It wasn't supplements or none of that. But what happened was Ben Johnson.
Oh, okay,
had
the
just,
runner. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He had just beat Carl Lewis.
Yeah.
So that's when that big steroid hype came out. So everybody in my neighborhood started saying, oh, you must be on that Ben Johnson stuff because you got buffed too fast, right? And that was the first time I ever heard of that. And I just became an animal. Like football, wrestling, track, I was just an overachiever. I would practice when other people weren't and everything. So I came back 10th grade year hitting everybody when I didn't even have to hit. I could have been trying to go for an interception. I would just hit people. I'll never forget when I got my first migraine too. But it was my 10th grade year. I just had came from the gym at lunchtime, working out. My vision went blank. My left side went numb. My face numb. I couldn't talk.
Oh.
And this is, you know, at lunchtime. And so I'm like, dang, what is going on? So then I went to my class and just nodded off, went to sleep, woke up, threw up. And I was like, what the hell going on? So my mother took me to the hospital, I think, that night. And they did a CAT scan, but didn't see nothing. This went on after that time, like, for 16 years.
Gee.
Anytime I would overwork out, when I got to Fresno State, oh my God, they had triple days. And it was heat like it is in Vegas. I stayed with migraines every day.
Gee.
Lost like 20 pounds because I was throwing up all the time, couldn't eat. And so a lot of people don't know that about me. Like I sacrificed, I was like, I'm gonna just die. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna go be the best. I'm gonna die if I gotta die for, you know, having these migraines because I didn't know what it was. Yeah, and so that was a crucial part in my life.
Yeah.
Wow.
And how what then sort of took you off, because you're obviously, you know, successful athlete, success at school. You know, I guess an example of, if you have to sort of predict where you was going to go, it would probably be, you know, in a good place. What kind of, you know, meant that you ended up in, you know, in prison? How you know, what caused that?
Oh, well, what happened was my sophomore year at Fresno, it's a weird life transition, but so what happened was I went to go see my little brother. I had a new car, drove out from Fresno to Oakland, which is only like 2 hours, and my car broke down returning back to college. And so my mother, her AAA had it towed back to Fresno where I was going to school, and I'm like, the engine costed $500. And so on my documentary too, I speak a little about this. And I asked my mother for the $500. She said she didn't have it. I went to my coach, Coach Sweeney, like, man, I need an advance on my scholarship. He's like, oh, and this saying just to stick with me for the rest of my life. Coach Sweeney was like, Kirkendall, my maiden last name, a man got to do what a man got to do in this world to survive. And I took that as a negative thing.
Right.
You know, so I said, okay.
Was that how it was meant, as a negative? Or
No,
it wasn't?
no,
Right.
not at all. But me coming from the environment I came from, it's like you got to get money however you can,
Right.
even if it's bad, demonic, however. And so I took that in a bad way, and like I say, at that point, I'm still angry my brother died.
Yeah.
I had got in an altercation in college a few months before that, so now at this time, I was carrying a gun with me.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, okay, a man got to do what he got to do. I could just go rob some people or something there to get this money. And it's funny because when I look back, as I was going to do something evil, God sent the angel to me in the process, my roommate.
Really?
Yeah. And as I was walking out to do this act, he came in. I was walking out the house. He was coming in the house, just my roommate. And he looked me in the eye and said, man, what you going to do? I'm like, don't worry about it, man. He said, whatever you do, don't do it. Come back in the house. And I'm like, nah, man, I got to go do this. And I just look back on it now like, dang, God sent the person to stop me.
Yeah.
And, you know, I went through with it. And I robbed some guys and at the ATM and ended up on a run.
Really?
Yeah, I left Fresno because they started, the police found out immediately who it was. And I went to Oakland on a run. And my mother and father was like, you can run all your life, but you're going to have to deal with this sometime. So I went back to Fresno, went to jail, went to trial, lost, ended up getting 7 years. Yeah. But it's, you know, it's another thing that happened was they
How old was
offered,
you at that point?
I was 19.
He was 19, wow.
So they offered me probation
What
on this case.
What does that mean?
That means they was going to let me out and I would have to be, you know, probation is when you can't do nothing wrong again while you're on the streets.
Oh, so they let you out?
No, they was going to. So I signed the deal for probation. And so that's why I could never be racist, prejudiced, nothing. It was a young black district attorney that was, you know, going against me. And she looked at me and she was like, nah, I don't think this deal the right deal. Let's take a break and I'll come back. Came back, revoked that probation deal and said, we'll give you 5 years in youth authority.
Right.
And I'm like, for me, I was already buff, already a leader. Me going to youth authority, I was going to end up doing 10 to 15 years.
What's the difference? What's youth authority?
Youth authority was all the testosterone-filled motherfuckers that's young, anywhere from 12 to 21, you know what I mean? Just wild and fighting and chaos. And I'm like, nah, I'm just going to fight the case. And I end up losing, which I should have. And, end up doing 7 years, off 7. Well, yeah.
And in that process, like, you know, was that when you got into gangs and you became?
Well, you got to think, like I say, my whole life been structured.
Right.
I was in sports, so I was always the captain. Went to college, was in the fraternity. So all my life, all I knew is to be in a structure. And so as I was in county jail, I became a Muslim.
Right.
Because, you know, I was questioning my religious beliefs and stuff like that. So I became this die-hard Muslim. Not no black Muslim. I became the Muslim where it's all nationality, all al-Islam. And so I learned the Quran in and out. I became a Amir.
What's that?
Amir is the stage before you become like, you know, in a church, like a pastor, like the head pastor. So I was like a step before I got to that level, imam, which they call it in Islam. So I was a Amir. Read and write Arabic. I learned everything. Yeah, and so I started leading that for 2 years as I got into prison. And a lot of people don't understand, like for me, when I became a part of that, Ramadan, when you fast, I became an animal.
Really?
Like I was hungry. So I might stab you up, beat you up. I'm like, after 2 years of doing it, I'm like, God didn't mean for me to starve like this and be violent, and it don't make sense. You know what I mean? So I transitioned out of that and became a part of a prison gang.
Right.
And another reason that made me transition from that was because a lot of the Muslim guys were slamming dope. You know, they was praying, doing their 5 prayers, but it was slamming dope. And me and dope just are like water and fucking oil. Yeah, always been an advocate against drugs like that. So anyway, so I got in the prison gang. It was a Bay Area-based prison gang, all nationalities. We had white guys, Mexicans, Puerto Rican, everybody. And because I never wanted to be a part of something that was just prejudice or racist, or I wasn't cut like that.
So you still had your values, even though it was.
Oh, without a
You know,
doubt.
unusual
Well, but our
situation.
gang we called it an organization. It wasn't really considered a gang. It was just something to keep people in the Bay Area with a structure.
Okay.
So it wasn't nothing. It wasn't a gang in the sense, oh, you got a different color on, you white, you Mexican, It wasn't. It was just to keep guys in the Bay Area with a structure of working out, staying conscious of positivity, stuff like that.
So there was some good intent.
Oh, without a doubt, it was all good intent. That's why I became a part of it.
Right.
Well, and for me to I made an agreement with the guys that was in the gang. In order for me to be a part of this, I got to start at the top because I just had that much respect through being in prison.
So how did you get? I guess you could apply that to anything. Like, how did you sort of go in and negotiate to be at the top? Were you just like by looking at you, or how did you kind of negotiate?
Well,
that?
all the guys that was in this gang, I went to school with,
Right.
and grew up with in Oakland and all this, and they knew that me coming from being a Muslim with structure, that's serious and respect people. They were like, yeah, we need him in this to, help us out, structure things, keep guys in tune with, daily prison life, So, yeah. And it was a great thing for me. I mean, it had its bad parts, but overall, it was for a good cause.
Right.
Well,
So you went in at the top, and was there like a form of sort of hierarchy where you'd move up?
yeah, without a doubt. It's
Really?
just like the Army.
Really?
Uh-huh. Yeah, so I went in as a captain.
Right.
Yeah, and there was only one other stage higher than me, which I ended up reaching.
Right. And what was that then? How do you get to sort of like a?
You gotta, basically for me it was getting to the streets and helping and looking back.
Right.
While I was out looking back, and the founder taking care of him and make sure he okay. And so that's how that happened.
Yeah.
Well,
Because you were in and out a few times, is that?
yeah,
was that-
So I did 7 straight, off 7 because got in a lot of trouble at San Quentin.
Was that the place the prison that you were in? San Quentin?
Yeah, I was in a lot. I was in. I started off in Southern California
Right.
because I caught my case in Fresno. So from Fresno County, I went to Wasco, Delano, then Tehachapi. So by that time, I had in about 3.5, 4 years. From Tehachapi, I went to San Quentin.
And that's a pretty bad place, from what I understand. Is that right?
It's political.
Right.
It's not bad how people, back in the days, it was bad.
Right.
When people was killing correctional officers, dudes was killing each other, all that. But it was political.
Right. And what does that mean in that
That
sense?
means that you had to have a structure like, a lot of drugs are the main source of violence in prison.
Really?
So if anything, say a white guy is owed by a black guy some drug money,
Right.
that can cause a riot, prison riot, or a Mexican owes a white guy or black. That type drugs is everything in prison.
Really?
And so that's the type of stuff that start prison riots. So I got in a few prison riots. And so me being known as the top guy, they would send me to the hole first.
Really?
Yeah. Because they figured, that saying you take away the head, the body will follow.
Right.
So they always had that. So I went to the hole a lot at San Quentin. And in that time of going to the hole, I would lose time.
Right.
So after 7 years, I was supposed to do 5 years and 10 months. And I ended up doing the whole 7 years. Went in 1994, got out 2001.
Was that the first time or the second time?
Yeah, that's the first time.
First time,
yeah,
right.
I went in 1994, got out 2001.
And how long were you out for?
11 months.
Oh, really?
Well, so what happened with that was I got out, became a stripper, a model. When I was telling you I came here, I did some modeling stuff. I became a stripper, model, personal trainer.
At 24 Hour Fitness, is that right?
Yeah, but I also was a trainer there years before. But yeah, I was a trainer there. So I was making excellent money.
Right.
So this is where car situation come in again. I bought a new Mustang 5.0 Wreck-It, going to a strip show I was about to do, and I wrecked the car, so I started renting cars. Mm-hmm. But me being this guy, you know, wanna have the best, I'm renting a car and it's costing like $100 a day or something like that. So my money dwindled. Right. And so, you know, I never sold dope in my life. And so I had so many connections. I was finally like, man, I'm gonna get me a half a kilo and sell to the youngsters on my block where I grew up at.
To make a bit of money.
Right, to make money. And because the personal training thing had dipped.
Really?
I wasn't, you know, I didn't know about, and that's why I tell a lot of guys it's personal training. That's more so for younger guys. Because one month I was making $5,000-6,000, then all of a sudden, when the holidays come or whatever, your client's gone. You know, so I wasn't used to that. So I started selling drugs, didn't last maybe 3 months. Police, I was the gang leader.
Right. So they watching you, I guess.
It's like they had, and I think they do chip a lot of people. Like put a chip in them, because they just, I mean, it wasn't 3 months. You had guys that been selling dope on the same street where I was for 10 years, never been in jail. And I get busted within 3 months. Yeah, and so I go back, had to fight a case, ended up doing a year.
Right.
And I had to take probation on top of parole. So after that, I went back doing the same thing. Because I'm thinking I'm this big dog. I mean, I'm the top dude in my gang. I could get kilos upon kilos of drugs without even putting no money up, and you know. So I'm like, when I get out, I'm going back to do it. So I got out. Probably didn't last 90 days again.
Really?
Yeah. Ended up doing 16 months, I want to say. Yeah. Ended up doing like 16 months. Got out. Was like, okay, I'm going to start selling drugs in San Francisco.
Oh, so you still were thinking of that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because I had unlimited supply. You know what I mean?
What was that like just where you were at the time? That was just the only thing you could see as an option.
Yeah.
Really?
Because for me, once my NFL dreams was gone,
right,
I'm like, damn, how am I gonna get rich? Only way I could see, well, once I got out of prison, I thought I was gonna get financially well, which I was. Personal training, stripping, modeling,
right,
which I was. But when that got kind of weirded out, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to sell dope. You know what I mean? And so that stuck with me. I went the first time, the second time. So the second time I went back for drugs, I'm like, I gotta find a different occupation. I'm like, I'm gonna go out and try to be a pimp.
Pimp.
Yeah. so I had
was
lot
that
of
kind of in your mind, was that like a better progression than it was?
Yeah.
Like a career
Less
progression.
violence.
Right.
I don't have to ride around with drugs and guns and stuff like that, because I was on parole riding around with kilos of cocaine and guns. Well, and so I'm like, I'm gonna transition to try to be a pimp.
Right. Did you know people that had done that?
Well, what happened was I had a lot of cellmates
right,
that were doing it.
Okay.
Like older guys, I'm talking they 50s, and you know, so
By
they
my
would
age.
talk. Yeah, they would talk all that crap, you know, and They like, yeah, man, this how you do it. I read all the little pimp books that was out.
Is there books on doing it?
Yeah.
There is.
Pimping. It's a book called Pimp by Iceberg Slim and all. I read all those books. And so.
So you studied it?
Yeah, I studied it. But the only problem that I knew I would run into was I wasn't a big talker like that.
No.
Like, oh, you know, I wasn't like that. So what happened was some youngsters like, man, you get on ecstasy, you talk a lot. You know what I mean? You go be nonstop talking. So when I got out and I said I'm gonna be a pimp, I tried ecstasy. I got my first prostitute that night. Cause I was just talking stuff I read so many books. It's like me and my friends in prison used to compete on who read the most books in a week.
Really?
So I'm talking about every genre of books. Dictionary, I read it page for page and just crazy stuff. And so
you were kind of like I suppose a sort of in the criminal world, you did it by the book as you would do if it was a legit business.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I got out. I had at the most, I had like 5 girls at one time.
Right.
But the problem I had with pimping was I was anti-drug. Even though I popped a little ecstasy here or there, you couldn't do coke, weed, drink, be drunk, all that. So I wouldn't keep a girl because all of them did drugs. And so finally,
I heard you tried to take them to the gym. Was that?
Oh
right?
yeah, that's a funny story. I tried to take them to the gym. They like, we not trying to be buff or fit. We trying to hoe and get high. So, you know, I did that for 2 years. So I think in the midst of that, I caught another case, a high-speed chase, and a gun was found in my car during that process. And so I went back and did 16 months. Yeah, because I had to take a deal for, it was either I took the gun or the reckless driving. And so I took the reckless driving, which it should have been vice versa. But yeah, I took the reckless driving and went and did 16 months. And that was my last stint. That was in like 2006. Yeah, 2006.
So when you say that was your last stint, did you consciously say that was your last stint, or did it just kind of happen that way?
No, it happened.
Right.
Yeah, because I got out and still did illegal acts.
Really?
In 2006, I was shipping ecstasy to all around the country.
Really?
Well, and personal training and stripping. Well.
So I guess going back into prison obviously didn't faze you. It wasn't a deterrent. Is that?
No. You got to think, I went in prison at 19 as a celebrity and buff. So people had seen my case on the news, and so I was like this god, you know what I mean, that everybody respected, even the correctional officers. I was 19, you know, I got a picture I'll show you, and you could post whatever. When I was 19, buff, looked like a bodybuilder. So I just got respect. So I was institutionalized in jail in like 90 days in county jail.
Really?
Because my life always been structured. So this was just structure.
An extension of that.
You
right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so jail for me wasn't bad. Because I went in at 19. I wasn't highly sexually active because I was so into my body and sports and stuff. I wasn't screwing a lot. So I wasn't missing that.
No.
I didn't have, all I had was my mother, we wasn't close. I wasn't missing nothing on the streets.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so my last stint was the hardest actually,
really?
Because I was living good before I went in, nice cars, and you know. Was
that still from doing illegal stuff, or did you start to kind of transition from that at all?
When the last time?
When you said you had nice cars and everything, was that still?
Oh yeah, that was illegal acts.
Right.
Well, shipping ecstasy, stripping, personal training, basically credit cards, whatever I can do at that time. And so Was I doing shows yet? I think I did one bodybuilding show in the middle of that. Maybe in 2001. But, so when I get out in 2006, I become a personal trainer. I do the stripping. What else did I do? Oh, I was shipping ecstasy at that time. And so what happened was the ecstasy thing kind of dried up after about I did it for 2 years where I was shipping, you know what I mean? And so I had a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I ended up moving to Los Angeles in 2010. And at that time I was just personal training. I did my first bodybuilding show in 2009. So that pulled me out of the BS I was doing, the bodybuilding, because I had to get focused. And it's a funny story how I started bodybuilding. I went to a bodybuilding show and Jay Cutler was there, which he a good friend of mine now. And so I was buff to everybody in the streets.
Yeah.
Like, man, you swole, woo, woo. So I went to this bodybuilding show. I was high off of X-Pill and gin. So I'm like, Jay, let me take a picture with you, man. I'm walking around with my shirt off thinking I'm big. I took a picture with Jay Cutler, looked at the damn picture. What the he make me look like a little kid. And I went to the bathroom, threw away all the ecstasy, the alcohol, said, I'm about to get fucking swole. And so in 6-7 months, I went and did the Orange County Classic and won.
Right.
Well, so Jay Cutler was actually my inspiration to put all the bullshit aside and start doing bodybuilding shows.
Wow.
Wow.
And after that, you finished the sort of illegal activities, did you? Or?
Did I? Yeah, because the ecstasy thing had dried up. So I was just personal training at this time. And I think I even stopped stripping because I got too buff at that point. Yeah, I had stopped the stripping. And so I ended up moving to Los Angeles because I wanted to become a pro bodybuilder and just push for that.
Yeah.
So as I was in LA with my ex-wife, like money, shit was expensive out there. Our rent was like $3,300 for an apartment. She was lazy as shit, wasn't working. So I became a barber, personal trainer, and I was doing background acting work, which I never even wanted to be an actor. That's another story within itself. And so started, making money to stay stable, to pay the rent sometimes. Sometimes we would get eviction notices. So it was rough. And so what happened was, with the acting thing, one day I was looking at the TV and God just put it on me like, man, I should try this acting shit. I think I was looking at something with Terry Crews or something in a commercial, in one of those Spice commercials. I'm like, man, he a square dude, man. They need a real dude in acting. I Googled how to be an actor. Took the fucking steps. The next week I was working with Matthew McConaughey. Well, never wanted to be an actor in my fucking life. Well.
How did that happen then?
Well, I just Googled how to be an actor, so I went down and I signed up at LA Casting, Central Casting, put some pictures on some other sites or whatever. But I found that job with Matthew on fucking, what's the one where people,
like a Craigslist.
Craigslist.
Oh, really?
On Craigslist. They was looking for a bodybuilder. So I signed there, went and auditioned in front of him and booked it. It was a music video, Playing the Part by Jamie Johnson. And from there, I would put his name down on my resume that I worked for him. Started booking all type of stuff, man. Got my first national commercial. It was an Old Navy. And that's when everything just took off with the acting. Wow.
So was there a point where you sort of went from, living probably the not so legitimate life to saying I want to go clean and I want to you know, I don't want to go back to prison. Was there ever a moment where you made that decision, or did it just sort of roll?
No, it just rolled.
Right.
Yeah.
So we used to
Moving to LA is what saved me.
really.
Oh yeah, I was on my way to be dead or on death row.
Really.
Yeah. Cause right before I moved to LA, I was still on some violent stuff. Some bad stuff happened at a barbershop I was at, so I went psychotic again on a vengeance. I was out to get blood on some people. So yeah, it took for me to move to LA.
And do you ever now, like, you know, is that still with you? You know, like if things got tough, do you still think like, okay, well that's an option, you know, like, or have you?
Oh no. Only thing I see as an option is stripping. That was good money. No, the options I have now, especially where I'm at in life now, is personal training,
Yeah.
or stripping. Or what else would I do? It's just hard to say now because all I had to do is pump out some videos.
Right.
You know, for me in my life now, the more videos I put out, the more money I could make.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be, right now that'd be hard to see.
How do you look back on those times? Like, do you look back on it as like, you know, do you have regrets on any of those things? Or?
Fuck yeah.
Really?
It was, that's why I understand. People don't understand when you see people in life doing just foolish, dumb stuff, they are possessed by the devil.
Really?
Yeah. When you see anything just heinous, or it could be a good guy, you'd be like, I never would have. People, when I was, like my high school people, I was senior class president, 3.83 in the newspaper every week, best dress. I was the fucking guy. And people like, what the fuck? He in prison? What happened?
Yeah, that's
You
what
know
I'm
what I
sort of
mean?
like.
And so,
I'm kind of worried now I'm locked in this hotel room with you as well in case I said.
yeah. And so people, because of my brother, the devil was able to come in.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the crazy story is, before I did what I did in college, I was a youth pastor coach it's called Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So I went to go back. My 12th grade year, I was honored a scholarship to go to a football camp, my 11th grade year. And so I went to a football camp called Fellowship of Christian Athletes in Thousand Oaks, California, at Cal Lutheran. And so I got MVP of that camp. And so when I went to Fresno State, the guy that ran it saw me practicing. Like, you know, my mate named Chuck Kirkendall. He was like, Chuck, oh man, good to see you. Ooh. Would you like to come back and be a coach at the camp? I'm like, hell yeah. And so I went to back to Thousand Oaks and Northern Arizona University in Flagstaff, Arizona. This is like, I did this for 2 months out of the summer. Right when I got back, the devil was able to come in. That's when I did a robbery.
Right.
So that's when I started to question my religious beliefs and God and stuff like that. And that's what led me to become a Muslim or whatever, because I was confused, you know.
And I guess there must be a lot of kind of young kids, youths that, you know, not exactly the same way, but that may happen in their life. You know, what, you know, sort of talking to people, you know, what would you say to people where, you know, maybe something's happened and you know, they're on course for, like your friend who came in the door, you know, how would do you think it's something that you can change, or is it like, you know, once that happens, it's over and you just got to let them run with it?
That's tough, man. Because, I mean, this guy, when my roommate came to me, this was the only person I loved like my real brother. Yeah. And I didn't listen to him. You know what I mean? And it's tough. He would have damn near had to get in a fight with me or something. Or maybe hit me in the mouth and distract me or something like that. Because once the devil got your mind, tunnel vision, like it's tough to get somebody out of that. Well, Man, yeah, it's tough to get somebody out of that tunnel vision. That's why we see so many people like committing suicide now.
Right.
Stuff like that. Like, you know, maybe my mother said she loved him, and you know, and it just, you got to be a strong person, man, to not get led in that, you know, on that path.
Because I know now you're trying to, I guess, even through your book, is to sort of influence the youth.
Yeah.
In this, you know, what
Yeah.
are some of the.
Well, the good thing about me, which I've changed a lot of people's lives, I went to juvenile halls and talked. You know, it's good for, like, if I would have, let's see, how would have changed for me? Well, first it would have changed if my mother would have gave me the $500, you know, or the coach, or you know, something like that. But I'm trying to think how that situation would have changed, other than having the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that is just, I don't see.
Do you think
Not
if there
doing
was, sorry, do you think if there was someone like you back then with, because you're quite a sort of a powering character, and you know, I guess, you know, people look up and listen to you because, you know, you probably relate to a lot of people's story. You know, do you think you're in a power to influence others for them to
Without a doubt. Now, if I would have ran into me now,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I wouldn't have did it, because I would have been, what? You about to fuck up your whole life, your scholarship, and take a chance of going to prison? You know, yeah, if somebody has somebody like that in their ear, then yeah, that'll change their thought pattern.
Yeah.
But if they don't have somebody with that type of influence like me, man, it's tough.
Because I guess you've got, like, just as you have, I guess you've got two equal sides, you know, just as it is in a powerful way to cause a lot of destruction and dominate, you know, like your enemies or whatever, or get money, you've probably still got that same in a positive way. That can,
without a doubt.
You know, no one's going to mess with you.
Right,
regardless.
yeah. And it's funny because, you know, I live stream a lot and do my videos, and, you know, I talk to people like that, and if they soft or real feminine, they take it into a weird way.
Really?
You know what I mean? And my delivery and how I talk to people. But yeah, if I had somebody like me, I wouldn't have did it.
No.
Well.
And how would you say that you know, that's totally left you? You know, like you use, your description is, you know, the devil came in, and has that gone? So regardless of what would happen, that or do you have to kind of work at that on?
No, that's gone, because I know how the devil works.
Really?
And so my whole thing is, you're not smarter than me now. You know what I mean? Like, you can't outsmart me with the foolishness or the fuckery, so say. You know what I mean? And because I've been, you know, like, thoughts have came in, like I'm going through a divorce, or, you know, and she's attacking or just slandering, and, you know, the devil would try to come in like, oh, just go whack her. I'm like, man, get the fuck and fuck up everything I done built and people that respect and love me. You know what I mean? So I know how to, you know, you gotta, and that's what I tell a lot of my supporters and followers, subscribers. You gotta outsmart the devil, and that's you know, it's a challenge, but it's when you know what's happening, you can laugh and be like, oh, get the fuck out of here, devil.
Right. Do you think we all have our own versions of that? You know.
Without a doubt. Yeah. And man, that's a book within itself. How to outsmart the devil. Dang. Well, because that's all it is. You know what I mean? That you got those two people on the shoulder. I'll never forget when I went and did the robbery that caused me to do 7 years. I was just riding. It was midnight. And I'm like, man, let me take my ass home. What I'm doing? I never forget. It was so vivid. It's like when I do my movie, which a lot of people want to do my movie now for the book. When I do the movie, it's going to be so vivid. I'm driving, and I'm like, man, let me take my ass home. It's like 12:30 a.m. as I'm going home, the devil right here, like, boy, look to the left. I look, he's like, yeah, you got to go do it. And I'm like, damn, you know, being young.
What was to the left then?
It was a guy at an ATM. Well, and I'm like, damn, I got to do it. Just that quick. Like, if I didn't look to the left, I would have went home. Yeah, crazy. And so, yeah, the whole thing now is just outsmarting the devil, man.
Yeah.
Well,
And do you now where you are, you've obviously seemed as though you have got the ability to sort of outsmart. You know, what are some of the, you know, do you do any kind of, you know, meditation, any, you know, is there any psychological things that you, rituals and that you now do, whether it's in the gym or to sort of keep you fairly?
I'm heavy on prayer.
Really?
But also, like I tell people, if you love yourself and know the power within yourself, I mean, you know, in all books of God, it says he made us in his likeness. So everybody has God. They are God, basically. They have power.
Right.
You know what I mean? We have the power to supersede all that. Well.
So have you always believed, whether it's good or bad, that you've got, because I'll take a step back, you're very successful at whatever you put your mind to. Have you got like a formula? So if you want to either be the head of a gang, dominate YouTube, like you're a musician, have you got a formula of how you go about that? And
Oh, without a doubt. Doing your homework, research. You know what I mean? And it's funny you ask that. That just, you know, a lot of people ask me, because I get asked all these questions while I'm live streaming.
Right.
So this, you know, it makes it so fresh in my mind. But people ask me, what motivated you to be a bodybuilder or whatever the case may be? I say, when I was a baby, when I wanted to be smarter and buffer and richer than every other man. From when I can remember me being able to think.
Really?
I'll never forget, my stepfather was reading a newspaper. I was 3 years old. So I'm like, let me see it. I looked at it and couldn't read and started crying. Because of that, I started reading at like 4 years old. Because I always wanted to be smarter, buffer, richer. So as a kid, I always had that drive.
Right.
And that's why I tell people, you can tell how a person gonna be from when they're a baby.
Really?
I had this drive to be the best from a baby. And not to mention, I had a buff uncle who ended up dying in a car accident. I had my brother. You know, I had all these examples. I had my stepfather. He had his own business. Used to have big wads of money because he had an auto body shop.
Right.
And he about to be 90 in July. Still, this is my little brother's father. You'll read about it when you read the book. But so I had all these examples.
Yeah.
Buff, my uncle. Money. Smarts, my brother. Damn, I didn't even look at it like that. This is my first time analyzing it like that. I got goosebumps. So I had those examples, and that's how I went about my life.
What's your thoughts? And I've got it as a question. Like people use the word peer group or like friends or people that are around you. What's your thoughts on the people that are around you and how that impacts your life and your decisions in what you do? You know, you mentioned there that you had these kind of, I guess, positive role models. You know, the guy who made the money, the guy who had the great body, which I guess must have rubbed on you. You know, what's your experience on that? And should you be consciously choosing that right type of people around you, do you think?
Man, without a doubt. If you're around rich people, you're gonna want to be rich. You know what I mean? If you're around smart people and you feel dumb, you're like, dang, I gotta step my game up. It's just, you know, or if you're around, the messed up part about that is, like for me, I tried to have guys around me and rub off on them, but they became jealous and envious.
Really?
So I think if you get people young, you know, that's still impressionable and stuff like that, it'll be in a good way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to have guys around me as I got known to, you know, be there, do videos, show them how to do the YouTube, you know, and it became jealousy and envy.
Really?
So you got to get them as a young person. If whoever you around, that's almost how you go be.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good question. And that's if whoever you're around, that's how you go be.
And when you was in, you know, let's use prison as an example. Do you think you were conscious about choosing who you wanted to? So I guess there was a certain amount of people you had choice with. You know, were you consciously seeking out certain people that, you know?
I didn't trust nobody in there.
You didn't.
That's why I had to be the head,
Really?
the top dog. Those dudes wasn't of my caliber. You know what I mean? I knew this, so that's why I said when I got in that game, I'm like, I got to be the top dude. I'm not listening to no dope head on heroin, walking around the yard looking for dope, tell me what to do. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I always had to be the leader in that. And I didn't, people, you know, and I don't want to sound like a dick or something like that. People will be, oh, let me come work out, train with you. I'm saying, dude, I was around guys 11 years of my life, forcefully. When I got out of prison, I didn't want to be around no guys. That's why I was a stripper, a pimp. I wanted to be around women because dudes, especially around me, I have this presence about me. So when females come around or I get attention everywhere I go, most guys, 99% of guys can't handle that because they want the attention. And I don't even look for it. I'm so tunnel vision on success, like I've been all my life. I don't care about having sex with hella women and all this weird. I'm success, leave a legacy. That's all my life. I was trying to go to NFL. That got messed up. I said, okay, let me get rich, I guess, selling dope. Can't get rich on that. Let me try to pimp. Can't get rich on that. Let me try this bodybuilder shit. Let me try. I always had tunnel vision for success. So, yeah, whoever you're around as a kid is mostly how you go be. That's powerful. Like my mother, I'm leaving my mother out of this, and I praise her to this day. When you read the book, she was, a lot of people, when they read the book, like, man, your mother was shrewd. She was just, I don't know if she hated my father or what, but I got shit that a kid shouldn't experience. Bead and all type of stuff, you know, up until the age of, what I was about, until I went to the 8th grade maybe. Like we had issues where we had to go to therapy and all this, and, you know, and after the 8th grade, when I went to 9th grade, I became independent. Like I always had a job from the age of 12 on up. So once I hit 9th grade, I would go to school at about 7 a.m. and wouldn't get home till midnight. Because I went to school, practiced, didn't work. From the 9th grade to my senior year.
And how old were you at 9th grade? Just in England, we have it differently. But
I was about 14.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I was working all through my high school, playing sports. So I really, you know, I was doing my own thing. I was kind of introverted, antisocial, didn't do what normal kids do, didn't go to parties, didn't hang out. I was tunnel vision.
Yeah.
And that's what I saw my brother do.
Right.
He
So
was focused like that. Yeah.
And what's your thoughts on leadership? Like, you know, it's in, I guess people who are listening to this are probably in positions where they lead people, and I guess, you know, you've got the books about how to lead in, you know, in the outside world. What's it like, you know, what's it like trying to lead people in prison who, you know, is similar, you know, do you have to, is it all purely by force, or do you have to influence and lead and motivate, or is there totally different rules that apply in that type of situation?
Prison is easier.
Really?
because people know they can lose their life. Yeah, prison is either on the streets. There's so much disrespect in the free world. You know, you see on the internet how people just kids. This day and age mean nothing. We're ageless. Me and you, people. When you come on my live stream, the 90% of the question is, how old am I?
Really?
Because you know I have a young spirit, but I'm so buff, and so they just confused. But, so I'm saying that to say that nowadays respect and age means nothing. But when you go in there, respect and age is everything.
Really?
Yeah. And so, you know, yeah, it was way easier to lead in there than on the streets. You know, you had a few guys that would rebel, you know, and they would get hurt because of it. Like the main issue in my game was working out. Them guys didn't like to work out in Northern California.
But you made that part of your, was that, you know, what I read was part of what you had to, or you made people do, like workouts?
No, it was a bylaw in the organization.
Really?
Before, my organization was a branch of the Black Panther Party and all that. So the founder, rest in peace, he just died a few years ago at Folsom Prison. He structured it to where, you know, we wasn't going to be just one race. We was going to have open arms of all races, because the gang Black Guerrilla Family was just terrorizing everybody. So the founder of, it's called Kumi,
Right.
415 Kumi, he organized this to keep everybody safe from gangs like that was just terrorizing, and you know, the Aryan Brothers, the Mexican Mob, you know, that was terrorizing people if you wasn't in a structured base.
Really?
And so, yeah, it was a bylaw in my gang that you had to work out an hour every day. So the guys in Northern California prisons hate working out. So that was the biggest issue. And we would actually almost kill people because they don't work out. Well, it was that serious, working out.
And was it right that they removed your working out equipment when you was in prison? They took away the gym or the...
Like a lot of smart older correctional officers was saying, it was stupid. Because guess what? Now these guys doing calisthenics and they got cardiovascular. When they had the weights, it's just like the streets and that how it is now. Dudes want to just do one rep, eating 6,000-7,000 calories a day, walk around with guts but buff, you know, like power lifters.
Right.
They didn't have no cardiovascular, no wind. So when they took the weights, now these guys that's workout fanatics forced to do dips and push-ups and pull-ups. So now they trim down in size and not only strong, but now have some cardiovascular. So it was dumb. You know, in some prisons now, you can't even do push-ups.
Really?
I did a Fit Expo in Texas, and a correctional officer came to the booth. He like, man, you know, now we got a law in the prison I work out, guys can't even do push-ups. Physical fitness, man, and working out is like the best thing in life. Especially when you learn to, a lot of people in fitness, they try to do too much and tap into their central nervous system, and they don't get the full benefit, euphoric benefit from it, you know. And I'm fortunate that I learned it from a kid, how to enjoy it, and I've seen fast results, and you know.
Do you think that, whether it's fitness like calisthenics or you know, weightlifting, do you think that has a positive effect on people? You know, do you think that's kind of like something that grounds people? Like, you know, did it ground you from
like
the bad road?
Bodybuilding saved my life.
Really?
Working out, and I was telling people this the other day on live stream. So even when I was in the street life, I don't give a fuck if I'm hungover, just had a shootout, just ran from the police all night. 10 o'clock, I was at that fucking gym no matter what. So that kept me grounded.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I got to hit the gym at 10. That kept me grounded. And, you know, after
Maybe they
the
knew
gym.
how to find you.
Yeah. Yeah. But after the gym, that was a different story. But I made sure at 10 o'clock. And I look back, I'm like, that's just weird. You know what I mean? Like, I got a friend, we was in the barber shop, and I was cutting hair. So, before I moved to LA, I was cutting hair. I was a barber, because I'm a barber. And so, started working at a barber shop and making just as much money in a barber shop as I was selling drugs and stuff. Yeah. And so, that was my transition into LA. I was working at a barber shop. And so,
You didn't ask them to empty their pockets when you was cutting their hair. They'd shake.
oh, they'd be scared. I used to have to cover up. They're like, we don't want this buff dude cutting our hair. But yeah. So what point was we?
So you were saying you was at the barber shop making more money than selling drugs.
Yeah. But I'm trying to say what direction I was going in with that. What was the question before that? You remember?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I apologize. I threw you off.
I don't.
Oh.
I'm just so into this conversation.
No, but yeah. So we were talking about being grounded and like how you used to work out at 10 o'clock, and that it was
the
just,
grounded, being grounded with working out. So yeah, so working out, it grounds you in a way where you become focused on being better.
right.
You know what I mean? And so it saved my life. Doing that bodybuilding show in 2009 gave me a focus point. Before then, I was running wild.
Yeah.
Shipping XC, doing whatever I could do to make money. And so by me meeting Jay Cutler and going to do that bodybuilding show, I was grounded. Okay, I'm going to become a pro bodybuilder. And, that's all I had from there. I was going to become a pro bodybuilder. Went to LA and seen that I had to make money. I became a barber, personal trainer, doing background work, started doing big commercials and movies and TV shows. And the YouTube thing hit at the same time.
Right.
So this was all God planned. A lot of these guys now coming up, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be famous, I want to be a celebrity. When I did my first national commercial, Old Navy commercial, I got the most paranoid in my life. I was scared.
Really.
I only have about a few pictures of my whole youth. Because when I grew up, it was not gangster to take pictures.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wasn't even on the gangster hype, but it was just when I grew up, we wasn't into taking pictures like that.
No, I guess.
And so for me to come from that, and like I say, when I moved to LA, I had just did some evil stuff before. So when I did that Old Navy commercial, I was scared. Like, oh my God, people calling me, I don't know. Man, I probably could go back to jail. I was scared to death. And so even to this day, I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be a celebrity, none of that. I just want to be secure financially, be able to pay my bills. That's all I ever wanted in life. Even when I was selling drugs, doing the pimp stuff, all that, I never wanted to be like, oh, I want to be a billionaire. I never had that thought pattern. I just want to pay my bills, live comfortable.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how my life to this day.
Because like you obviously do share a lot of your lessons, and you put them out on camera, which is, people think it's easy, but you probably know it's not. Was that difficult for you to sort of, I guess coming from the background that you did, put the camera on yourself and start talking to people?
No, because as a kid, I was a comedian class clown. You got to remember, and my classmates had to remind me, like, dude, you ain't been antisocial all your fucking life. My friends, a few I have, but like, you forgot you was in fucking acting drama class doing skits. I was like, damn, you right. Because what happened was my brother died those years of my youth, I kind of forgot.
Right.
You know, and they were like, you was fucking, I used to get suspended almost every day in elementary and junior high for making the whole fucking class laugh, and I always was an entertainer. It just got stunted, you know, in that period from my ninth grade year all the way until I moved to LA. You know, I was just a serious hardcore dude, never laughed, just was business, you know what I mean? And so when I got to LA, I'm like, damn. Yeah, I'll never forget, we was driving to LA. As soon as I seen Los Angeles, it was like the devil just released.
Really?
It was like, it was the weirdest thing. And I'm like, damn, I can, you know, be me again. And so that's when that just over-the-top comedian came back, you know, the talker. But you got to remember, too, I'll never forget, I got out 2001, became a personal trainer at 24 Hour Fitness, which I was a trainer there from the 10th grade to the 12th, till I went to college. So I became a personal trainer. I was just hard. Funniest thing, I'm buff, right? So they hired me on the spot. So I'm in the gym up against the wall, you know, like I'm in prison still, just looking at everybody, scaring it. At that time, I had dreadlocks. So I looked like the Predator, right? Those scary looking motherfucker. So I'm standing there, buff, and I'm looking around. All the fucking trainers that wasn't nowhere near as muscular to be fit had all the fucking clients. And I'm standing on the wall just looking buff, looking mean, not going to talk to try to get new clients and stuff like that. And that was my biggest lesson. And I looked around and said, damn, I got to start talking. And it was forceful. And so I started forcing myself, hi, how you doing today? And, you know, I'm a new trainer here, and started getting clients. And so...
You had to work at it, though. I guess.
Yeah, it was tough. And so I always been the type person where I do character flaw adjustments.
Right,
Everybody don't have this gift.
And what's that then?
If you have a flaw, like my flaw was being hardcore, not talking, being tough.
Yeah.
I knew that was a flaw.
Really?
So I went in and adjusted it. I'm like, I can't be like this. All the rich people in the world talk a lot, got that charisma. And so that personal training thing taught me right there, I got to start talking to start making money. Then stripping. I'll never forget, I used to strip, you know, and I was the hottest thing in the Bay Area because I was buff, you know, and but I didn't talk much. So I was a good dancer. And I'll never forget this one girl, she was like, if you smiled more, you'll make more money, you know. And I'm like, damn, that's a good point. So I started forcing myself to smile more and be looser with the females. But pimping is what brought me like out. It's like all these things I did, negative, illegal, prepared me to be this person in LA.
Right.
And so pimping, I had to talk when I didn't want to. Oh, come here, I'm telling you, you don't need to be doing that. Get that money, go get that money. Let's go get it. You know, I'm just talking like that. And so all of that stuff groomed me to be who I am today, and, you know, an actor, entertainer, and all that. Yeah.
You seem like, knowing you now, obviously I didn't know the you on the front of this, but, you know, you just don't seem as though you've got a bad bone in your body.
I was never a bad guy. Like I said, I was a youth pastor, you know, was well-liked. I just tried to get money the wrong way.
Right.
And so that would put me in that environment. Like, I'm a chameleon. Whatever environment I'm in, I transition to.
So I guess you can quickly
right.
look very different if you need to.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm just a chameleon, you know, and when you think about it, that's being an actor.
Yeah.
You know, when I went to prison, I'm hardcore, I stab a motherfucker, ooh. You know, when I was pimping, I was swole pimping, always tripping, dipping, I was talking fast, you know, just whatever the situation is, and that's a gift. You know what I mean? Like I could go to a business meeting, don't cuss, and they were like, "Damn, you cut? We see your videos and see, you know, it's a gift, man." And I thank God for it, because a lot of people don't have it. A lot of people just don't get. I remember when the documentary came out, people thought I was gonna just stay what they saw in that video, like, oh, you know, hardcore prison, San Quentin. Right after that video came out, which is at like 44 million views now, biggest documentary on YouTube, I came out with kind of a comedic skit. Like, who is this? This ain't the guy we saw on there. So, you know, people, they just don't get it. A lot of people don't have that gift. You know what I mean?
And how, when you, I suppose, again, going back to being young, you think it's a difficult decision to make? Because I guess a lot of young people, particularly nowadays, you know, in Vegas, and it's all about, you know, making money, getting girls, you know, driving limos and sports cars and that. You know, that's very tempting. And I guess we're in this sort of instant gratification society where you just want it. And I guess there's, you know, even probably if we went out there, there's probably so many temptations where it's like, well, you do this for me, and you can be driving that car. You know, you can have this. How do you sort of stop that temptation? You know, how can you sort of help someone? You know, decisions. You know, what's your rule on decisions now? Because it can change your life. So
yeah, and that's the thing. I would tell them they would have to. Where you want to be in 5 years or 10 years, you know what I mean? Good example is people don't know, and I get a lot of hate from people for this. I'm an advocate against marijuana. So now everybody is on this weed hype. I'm talking about young guys. I'm playing with guys on PlayStation. This dude like 13 or something with a bong, and you know what I mean? I'm like, dude, what you doing, man? You 12, 13, your fucking brain cells go, oh no, weed is good for you. Ooh, he reciting all this stuff. I say, dude, I grew weed. I used to sell it by the pounds. If you're getting hydroponics, guess what? You're getting the same fucking chemicals that's in methamphetamine. I used to come out. I had when weed almost became legal, it became that in Oakland, Oaksterdam. I had my fucking grower's card. I used to come out of the weed places with buckets of chemicals to pour in the hydroponics. So, and that goes to your thing, decisions. I'm trying to relate to these kids. The decision you make to smoke this weed, all this, you could be saving that money. You know what I mean? You don't even have a car. You could be saving that money to have a nice car, have a nice place, food to, you know, take care of your body, but you want to get high. And that's why I get so upset with this weed thing.
yeah,
Because like I say, I grew it. I know it's in it, and it's just going to deteriorate mankind. They thinking it's something good,
yeah.
and if it's so good, why was it illegal like alcohol or every other drug? And once, you know, society figure, oh, we could just capitalize on. I say next, they go legalize heroin and cocaine. What's the difference? Alcohol is worse than all of it. They legalize it. All these DUIs, people getting killed on the highway, drunk. When you high, I done smoked some before. I probably smoked weed or tried a brownie or something, maybe 5 times in my life. And when I did it, I'm like, this is the stupidest shit known to man. Here it is, I'm slobbing and looking stupid. And that's cool. That's acceptable. And you got to think, the same motherfuckers that's getting DUI, now they about to be high on weed.
Right, yeah.
And
I guess that shapes probably your decisions in what you do.
Right. And then people, when I say that, you know what they say? Well, you probably on roids. so why you talking down on weed? I say, hey, I don't promote no drugs. You know what I mean? If you ingesting high fructose corn syrup in you, which a lot of people don't know about, I'm about to be an advocate against that. High fructose corn syrup is killing the world. Well, America.
Really?
Other countries like where you from and stuff, they don't allow it. But in America, they putting this, and that high fructose corn syrup is addictive like heroin. It causes cancer and all this other stuff. And it's in like fucking everything.
Really?
So me and Helena, we like now we check everything. Now we know what's it in and what it is not. I didn't know about it until like last year. She told me because she was watching a YouTube video. They was talking about it. And I'm like, everywhere we go now, high fructose corn syrup and fucking everything. And it's messed up because now you got kids, especially in fitness and all this, they ingesting all these chemicals. And when I grew up, everybody was shredded, abs, veins showing. Now everybody puffy because their body don't know what the hell it is they ingested. Protein powders, creatine, all this bullshit. Kids asking me about what you think about SARMs and all. Like, what? Y'all willing to take this foreign shit to your body, not knowing what it's gonna do? It's insane, man.
Do you take any supplements or?
Only thing I take is my pre-workout and my aminos.
Right.
I always been lactose intolerant, so protein powder. When I grew up, if you took protein powder, you was looked at as a pussy. In prison, they called it man in the can. And they're like, what? Nigga, I'll slit your throat if I see you. Because they sold weight gainer in prison. And so, like, you was a pussy if you took that.
Really?
Well. And, you know, I just grew up in an era where everybody was buff without supplements. Right. And so the only reason I came out with my pre-workout and aminos, because that's what I, take.
And what's in your pre-workout?
Just the ordinary shit, caffeine, got a few stems in it, but I try to keep everything to a minimum, because I'm not trying to be one of the guys that add to fucking up these young kids' health. Yeah. I tell people, they get pissed at me, bro, with weed and drugs, because I talk bad about that. I'm like, I can sell creatine. I can have hyphy creatine, hyphy protein, hyphy song. I can have all that.
Yeah. And marijuana, I guess, as well, you could probably do.
Man, my business partners asked me if I wanted to do, what's the new shit they extract from marijuana? CBD.
CBD, right.
You want to do CBD? I say, dude, why would I contribute to killing people? I already got sins that I need to hope God forgive me for. Why would I sell protein powder I know is killing motherfuckers? Why would I sell creatine when I know you go to the doctor as a kid and your liver and kidney enzymes are through the roof? And it's crazy because here it is a man like me that did demonic stuff for money, but come in and tell people and make them conscious of putting stuff in their body, they get mad at me. I could be like every other shark out there, like all these other guys selling this bullshit. Because these bodybuilders, they know the fucking truth. Yeah. In bodybuilding, when you do bodybuilding shows, why do you not take supplements 2 weeks before a fucking show? Because you know that make you retain water and fat and your body don't recognize it. It's crazy, man. And so I just, in this video, so when I talk about weed, guess who people bring up in the bodybuilding world?
Joe Rogan.
No.
Oh, in the bodybuilding world. I don't know. I'm not in.
Dorian Yates.
Oh, really? Okay.
So just last week, I was talking bad about weed. Dorian Yates smoke. I'm like, yeah, he retired due to motherfucker. He probably, do he work out anymore? I bet you he wouldn't have smoked like that when he was getting ready for shows, because his fucking estrogen would have been high and he wouldn't have been that fucking grainy and dry. you know, it just they hate me when it comes to that weed stuff.
What about alcohol? What's your view on that?
Same thing. That's what I told you when I met Jay Cutler. I was drinking.
Sure.
I've never been a heavy drinker because I've always been body conscious.
Right.
And I don't like feeling hungover, and I didn't want to die driving because my uncle died in a car accident, so I always been scared of dying in a car accident. I never wanted to be drunk driving. And it's a weird mentality I have. Everything I knew majority of humanity did, I wanted to do the opposite. So if I know mostly, I have a drink now and then, maybe a birthday, a celebration, something like that. I might have a little shot of Hennessy or gin or something rare.
Yeah.
But with alcohol, I know it converts your testosterone into estrogen.
Really?
Yeah. And so that's why, you know, I don't drink too much. And it just never made me feel good. Nothing made me feel good.
Yeah. So what do you do for advice? What do you do to sort of let, you know, I guess, do you do anything to sort of let yourself relax, go into a different place, or because you don't do no drugs, no alcohol? I'm not saying it's wrong, but what's your escape?
I got a natural. I think I still got residue from all them ecstasy pills I used to take.
It's still in there.
Yeah. And then, truthfully, like my pre-workout is why I'm walking around with it like it's a drug.
Oh, it's in that, is it?
This had me like feeling the best of my fucking life. Like, and I've been having my supplement line now about what, 4 years or something.
Right.
But this fucking hyphy mud, and what I get off of caffeine a couple of months out of the year.
Right.
But this just had me all my life, and that's why I have a pre-workout. I believe energy is everything. Same with amino acids. If you got a lot of energy like me, like you just up and at 'em, this made me feel euphoric, happy, like this is my drug.
And there's no sort of negative effect off that then? You don't get any come down of, you know?
No, not mine.
No.
It took me a year to formulate my pre-workout.
Really?
Well,
because with caffeine you get kind of like a crash, don't you? You know,
yeah, this one don't have a crash. I got a few stems in it, and
what stems?
Just stimulants.
Oh, okay,
But,
stems, right.
Other derivatives of caffeine, your hemp-based stuff like that. But and so that's another thing. Kids be like, "Well, you got you got chemicals in your pre-workout." I say, "Yeah," but what I tell you guys is to minimize everything you do. I tell you the good and bad: protein, creatine, pre-workout, whatever it is, and because they always ask me, well, you should have a protein, creatine. Nah, why? To kill y'all? To fuck you up where you go have cancer at 30 or something? I mean, proof is in, all you got to do is analyze bodybuilding, man. People putting all this bullshit in their body they don't even need or know what it does.
So how do you get, like, you're a...
Well, I was genetically gifted.
Yeah,
90 days as a kid, I was buff from just eating 6,000 calories a day. So I was just genetically gifted, and competing in bodybuilding, everybody had to do something. Yeah. That's just point blank what it is. Like I remember I did an undocumented show in 2001. I was out of prison, thought I was I was buff, and I did a show and I didn't eat nothing but tuna.
Really?
Yeah, it's an undocumented show, and got shredded, but lost like 25 pounds, and came in fourth. It was at the Contra Costa in Hayward, and I didn't even count that show. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just off tuna for like 30 days, and so so after that show, a guy was like, "Man, dang, you get on a little son, you would kill him," and that's when my curiosity started. But I didn't know about roids or nothing until I was 34.
Really?
Well,
did you ever try them when you
doing NPC shows? If you don't, you go get blue eye.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like I say, I tell people, whatever it takes to be the best in a positive manner, go for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the reason people always ask me why I didn't go pro in bodybuilding and all that, which I still could, and the thought sometimes pop up, but then I think about the money I had to put out, and that discouraged me. But the reason that I didn't continue on in bodybuilding, I did my last show in 2014, 15, the West Coast Classic. Took first place. All the gurus contacted me. Kali Muscle, let us go ahead and get you ready, get your pro card. Man, they sent over a list of shit I would have to take. Get the fuck out of here. You was telling me I'm gonna have to spend $3,000 to $4,000 on drugs, then how much on food? Maybe $2,000 a month on food. Then I gotta pay you $3,000 to consult me. That's a lot of fucking money for nothing. And I'm in my 40s, and I got $10,000 in bills alone. And to add another $10,000 to show my body off to get another man's approval. Then I go pro. I'm not trying to discourage nobody from shooting for their pro card or doing bodybuilding shows, but this is my thought. And like I say, at any time I might, let me go do a show. To this day, I might just fucking do it. But the reality of it is, I did 14 bodybuilding shows, lost like $250,000. That's a loss. You know what I mean? Like, as a grown fucking man, I could have invested that in something to make money.
Yeah.
This what all these guys doing.
Did it ever get you like did it help with your sort of YouTube business or anything like that? Or not really? None of those winning them?
You got YouTubers. Athlean X never did a show. Hodge Twins never did a show. Chris Jones just did one to fuck around. All these top fitness channel guys really haven't did shows.
No.
Only thing it benefited me is learning the science. Before I did my show at 34 years old, first one, I knew how to work out, but I didn't know the science of sodium, of your estrogen level, testosterone level, how to dry out, I learned that. So that's a plus, you know what I mean? Which I could have learned that shit on without doing shows, but that forced me to learn. And so I lost I did 14 shows, lost like $250,000, I added it up. So, okay, when those gurus contacted me, oh, you should get your pro card. So I would have lost another whatever amount, got my pro card, and now as a pro, I got to pay $500 a year for my pro card. So I got to pay to be a pro. I was going to college to be an NFL player to make millions, not give away millions. If the fitness industry, bodybuilding was handing out millions of dollars, I'd be full throttle right now. If they had medical or, you know what I mean? Like Mr. Olympia win 10 million. Fucking 10th place win million and, you know, so on. I would still be fucking doing it.
Yeah.
There's no gain in it.
No.
It's no, and that's why I see you did an interview with Lee Haney. I was upset with Lee Haney.
Really?
He was talking bad about technically me. I seen the interview he did. I don't know if it was with you or whatever, but he was saying these social media fitness guys and woo woo. And as he was talking, all I seen him talking to was me. You know, they doing this crazy ways, huffing, puffing, and, you know, I do stuff for entertainment, having fun. And I'm like, he mad at guys for giving advice, showing off their physique, and not having to spend $1 million to win nothing? How much you think fucking Sean Roden spent to become Mr. Olympia? People don't look at these fucking, the reality. Yeah. How much you think that?
I guess you're slightly different because I suppose, you know, there are a lot of people out on YouTube and Instagram that, you know, they're not giving good advice and they're you know, their intentions are probably not all that great. And I guess it's difficult to tell, you know, the real ones, the genuine ones. Like, you know, we just had this conversation about protein and a bunch of other things where you're saying, look, don't touch it. You know,
Right.
most people are not. You know, there's a reason. You know, you're building the brand, and there's like, okay, you're going to buy my protein, and anything you can put your name on to monetize, it's a business as opposed to kind of being, I suppose, considerate.
That's a devil.
Yeah.
That's being a devil. If you're just trying to make a buck at the cost of somebody's health, you're doing the devil's work.
Yeah.
You gonna have to pay for that. These guys, these supplement companies, they know what the fuck is Redcon, putting all that illegal shit. Kids are taking that. Would you want your little son or daughter to be taking that shit in their body? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, man. And, you know, you had asked a question earlier, the difference or the similarity in the street life and, you know, fitness life, whatever, bodybuilding, or business life.
Business life, yeah.
Sharks and shrewd. Like, I've dealt with the same stuff with my supplement company as I dealt selling cocaine.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that then?
Like, for instance, a company, like in the street life, selling cocaine, the person you getting it from could be like, oh, it's a drought right now.
Right.
We can't get it to you. So you'll go broke in that time period. In a supplement company, the company that's manufacturing your supplements say, oh, we got to up the price by double. And you be like, what? No, I can't pay that. You could go broke.
Mm-hmm.
Same fucking thing. You know, I just experienced that with Hyphy Bud. Supplement companies, man, it's not what it appears. I'm like one of the last Mohicans standing from, you know, YouTubers that put out supplements and supplement companies. And that's because I kept my stuff to a minimum. I only got like 3 flavors of pre-workout, 2 flavors of amino. When you got companies that's coming out with 10 fucking products, oh, they in the hole like a motherfucker. So then they gotta sell everything, then re-cop. You might not make money for 2-3 years. Yeah, it's cold.
And is that where you sort of get people putting, you know, I guess bad stuff into their stuff to cheap, you know, to bring the price down and to,
without a doubt,
make it?
Yeah, well, and it's unethical. It's not right, especially.
I guess it's legal drug dealing.
Yeah, but it's sad because they're giving it to kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my majority of my fan base are anywhere from the age now since gaming, 14 to 25.
Right.
So could you imagine if I was feeding them all this bullshit and they starting to have kidney problems, liver problems? I'm going to fucking hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it just it's.
So I guess it comes back to the beginning. You know, you do have a responsibility with the influence that
Without a
you
doubt.
have over a lot of these people.
Well, and for me, starting YouTube and all this stuff was just for fun. I did my first video in 2008. Yeah, because I've been on YouTube 11 years. So I just did a pull-up video. Dude recorded it. So hella people came on a video. Like, what? It was 45 pull-ups straight. What the fuck? That's not military based. You the chin and come over the bar, you fucking coon, and all this, right? So I said, oh, my chin and come over the bar? Called dude, let's go back to the park. Went back to the park, did a muscle up video. It's talking. Is my fucking chin over the bar now, motherfuckers? It went viral. So that was like my first viral video on YouTube. And at that time, I was out of prison. I was hardcore. So those fucking comments, like, was a fire. Really? I would read the comments, like, oh, yeah. And that was how I was able to, even to this day, if I stop reading comments.
Does it bother you?
No.
No.
So if I stop reading comments, I kind of get dull.
Dull?
I kind of lose that fire.
Really?
Yeah. And so, and it happened within this last 2 years because I was going through a lot of legal situations. And so, with the fitness, that is, but I transitioned to gaming. So I wouldn't have to do the hardcore lifts and all that. Because I've been blessed. 32 years training, no injuries. Knock on wood. So I'm blessed, you know what I mean? And so that's how I started my YouTube channel. That always been my fire.
Really?
Like to prove people wrong. I got a song called Prove 'Em Wrong. And so that's just, those comments are what made Kali Muscle today.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you like to get those?
Right, yeah.
Right.
Because that give me more. The comedian Michael Blackson, like, my fucking haters give me my content. And for me, they give me my content. Like the last super viral video I had is the video why I lost my size.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that one actually when I was.
I wasn't go do that fucking. I seen a dude, a troll, did a thumbnail where he photoshopped.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me comment on this video. And this after 2 months of that being out. One day I was just like, let me film something, do it. Capitalize off a person trying to talk down on me. So that's the beauty of the internet, like, world, is that if you know how to capitalize off it in a positive way, you know, take the negative, turn it to positive, you could be wealthy.
Is that your philosophy on life though now? I guess, you know, you've very much had a lot of negatives and you've flipped them around almost, you know, like just your brand. And we've not talked about branding, but you know, your brand is now.
Yeah. And my real fans get it. Like and a lot of people every day in my DM email me, like, man, you motivated me to, you know, press on, don't listen to people, F everybody. And that's my message to everybody, like, you know, you don't need no friends. I tell youngsters, my friend, you don't need, be a warrior, motherfucker. Don't be a soldier. I always been a warrior. A soldier just do what a motherfucker like me tell him to do.
Right.
You just a pawn. You know what I mean? So I try to get across to everybody, be a warrior.
And what does that mean?
That
like think for yourself, or?
Right.
Right.
Think for yourself. You don't need to go clubbing with your friends. Hit the gym and hit some books. Do something productive. You know what I mean? You don't need to, because this whole, back to the marijuana weed thing, is a fad.
Yeah.
You got kids now, 12, and their friends tell them, oh, you here smoke some weed. Oh, you a square, you ain't cool. And
yeah, a lot of peer pressure.
When I grew up, if you smoked weed, you was a pussy. Everybody used to, dudes that smoked weed, they would go and hide around the corner, or they didn't want dudes like me seeing. You was looked at as a pussy because you did dope.
But I guess you know, it's been made that, you know, like in
It's
terms
cool
of influence,
now.
it's been made to be cool. Yeah.
Snoop Dogg made it cool. He did in his music videos. That was like one of the first people to start having all the weeds and music videos and all that. Blaming you, Snoop.
Yeah. But I guess that's difficult as a you know, young person who wants to impress, who doesn't want to stand out. To you know, it's probably a great lesson in life to make your own decisions. I talk about it for my daughter, and you know, because she's getting up that age where she can be influenced, and it's almost like, I guess if there's one thing you can give her is to not be affected. You know, even if other people think it's stupid, be confident in making your own decisions.
Yeah, well, but then, like I say, it's the mind I have is how I was brought up.
Yeah.
My mother, I'm talking workhorse, man. 30 years, been a nurse. Like I said, she treated me bad as a kid, but providing, people think you started from the bottom, now you made, motherfucker, my parents was over middle class. My stepfather had his own business. My mother was a nurse. We lived in the house with my father had about 3 Cadillacs, a Benz. I was driving from the 10th grade till 12th. I went to college to school myself and had on all name brand clothes, and I didn't start from the bottom. I was raised in a house where everybody was financially stable, dressed nice, lived nice. But my mother, a lesson she taught me as a kid that went with me through my life. This would kind of turn me into a mind my business type of warrior type guy. We used to have a habit of looking outside. My street was a drug street, traffic. I'm all times of the day when I was a kid. And so I looked out the window one day, a dude walked up, and a dude right in front of our house blew his head off. My mother, she came, grabbed me by the neck, said, "Hey, in this motherfucking life, you mind your business." And so that just went on with me through my life. I always minded my business. Even when I was, running the game, all that, I don't give a, you know what I mean? Minding my business. What they got to do with us? Okay, well, leave it,
Right.
And that's what kept me out of a lot of trouble, man. Like when I seen a fight or something, I wasn't that kid to run to it. I went the other way,
I guess you can, in a lot of, and you see it on social media, is people getting involved in other people's businesses, talking about other people.
Oh man, I live that. Well, every day on the internet, just live streaming just show me the mind state of these kids, and that's why I do it, to really connect with them, to understand. Every other question they ask me about another man.
Really?
What you think about Larry Wills? What you think about Michael Hearn? What you think about this guy, that guy? I said, hey, dude, that's you guys' problem. You too concerned about other men.
Right.
And then on the flip side of that, I know why they ask me, because they want me to say something negative to try to run and gossip.
Yeah.
But I tell them, the cloth I'm cut from, I can't be concerned with no other man. I have a journey, an obligation to be focused on what I'm doing and the message I'm spreading to y'all. And then I tell them, you guys asking an ex-con that did demonic shit you couldn't, if I told you, you would run from me. You asking that guy about people that's doing stuff positive. Never been to jail, just a positive, good person. And you asking me what I think about these good guys? You gotta be foolish. So.
Do you ever compare yourself? Do you ever sort of, look at someone else and sort of say you want to be like, or are you just very much, you got your own life?
Since a kid, I felt like a god.
Yeah.
From a kid, I felt like a god. When my mother said, mind your business, and I had an example of her. She just mind her business, went to work, so provided for the family, I had that example. You know what I mean? So it's like, I never looked outside of myself for motivation, inspiration, nothing.
It all comes from.
It's bizarre because, the youngsters ask me that. Who did you look up to as a kid?
Yeah.
And at first I said nobody, but then I was like, oh, my brother before he died. Yeah. That's who I looked up to. And I always had it within myself.
So what does winning mean to you then? Because you win at a lot of things. What's your definition of that and how to accomplish, how to win?
Win is just staying, to me, on the ongoing straight path without kind of stopping, or letting stuff stop you. Like, all my life, I would have a situation that can cripple me. Like, even to this day, like, I'm going through it's been 3 years going through a divorce for no reason. Ain't no money, ain't no kids, ain't nothing. Mm. But that situation, like I say, the devil was able to come and whisper to me, You know, I had an attorney suing me that didn't even finish the divorce case. So my problem's always been my pockets getting hit financially. And that's when the devil was always able to come in and sway me. You know what I mean? Whisper to me.
Yeah.
Well. And so even to this day, it's the same way. But I'm able to just be like, okay, shit. If I've been broke before without a penny several times. Been flat broke. You know what I mean? And so.
Do you think that was that money thing was a part of you where it put you out of your where you felt, because I guess you know physically you've got you've got that confidence in winning, but do you think that money thing was almost something that you were afraid that was something that could affect you?
That's everything in my life to this day.
Right.
That's, people ask me, what do you fear, Kali Muscle? I say being broke. Being broke, you can't do especially with me now at this point, got all these like up to $10,000 a month in bills.
Right.
People, stay hustling, Kali, stay putting out, say, if I don't work, I don't eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now I got my girl and about to be a pop. You got kids. It's full throttle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, the money thing with me is the main issue. All my life has been like that.
And I sort of understand that, because it's a fear. For me, in fact, it's something that drives me in a positive way. But it's, I guess, certainly when you're younger, it's something that you would do anything to make sure that never happens. There's nothing that you would stop at not to get it.
Yeah.
Now you're older and wiser, and I guess in a different position. What do you do to deal with that? I guess that kryptonite, that fear of. Have you got something that's above that now, the money, where even if it was taken away from you, you no longer have that? Nobody can take you, because physically, if someone's to attack you, you're indestructible. But the money, have you overcome that? Do you think?
No. Yeah, like I said, I just had an attorney sue me. He was my divorce attorney, and he came to one court date. I paid him $12,500 and. Just a fucking, I've never met, this is one of the shrewdest people I've met in my life. Came to one court date. After that, I paid him $12,500. He wanted $30,000 more. I'm like, I don't have it. I'm broke, man. Sue me. Pulled some shit and won. You know what I mean? And I went to court, all types of, he did some type of thing and won. And so I'm always faced with that money thing. Like right then with him, the devil was able to come whisper, bro, just come on, you Kali Muscle, man. Just go whack him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I had to fight those thoughts. So yeah, the money thing's still there. That's my kryptonite. And like I say, I'm not trying to be a billionaire, I just want to be financially stable.
What would you be? Someone asked me this question. What would you be if that wasn't? If you never had to have that thought again about that fear of if it was to go on. If that thought could never enter your mind, what would that?
Oh, that'd be total freedom. Well, that'd be total freedom.
So I guess you've evolved, like me, you kind of you've evolved. It's like, okay, there's now a good way and a bad way to do it, but it's still, I suppose, there. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who have that, it's still that thing that it's a bit of a, you don't like to fear things, but it's something.
Yeah. But the thing about today, in this day and time, and I tell all these young people and old people, it's no excuse not to get money.
No.
There's so many fucking ways. Here it is, an old motherfucker like me. I said, okay, I need another source of income. Oh, this gaming. These youngsters making millions. Let me go get me a fucking PlayStation. Most people don't have that. They go be like, oh, I'm too old. They go make up excuses. I've did everything in my life, negative, and you know what I mean? So I'm like, why won't I do everything positive?
Yeah.
And like I say, that's just a gene my mother passed on me, being a hustler and just not caring what people think.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I was a stripper when it was called gay in Oakland. Like, you was, you know, yo, you a stripper, oh, you would take gay. And, you know, in the black community, where if you
Yeah.
looked at as gay, somebody would try you or blow your brains out just because they think you soft.
Wow.
You know, and so I never cared what another man thought. And that's where that tunnel vision, that warrior, that mind my business.
So you
that's
just,
where
you
that
had a
came
goal
from.
and it's like, I don't care what anyone says, I'm going to get that goal.
No,
And-
because I never, you know, and it's harsh to say, I never cared about, I don't want to say humanity, but another human's thought of me. Never cared. Like, I used to walk around tank tops on in Oakland, where that was like looked at like an alien, and you know, like I said, I stripped. I just did stuff out the ordinary from everybody else. Yeah.
So do you think now, do you still have like vulnerabilities?
No, like I said, my only kryptonite is just money. Yeah, staying financially stable, and that's what brings out the creativeness and
Right.
you know, of pumping out video. Because I know now, content is what my life is about. I gotta pump out content. You know what I mean? I can't wait to get back to LA. Acting was free money for me. You know, it was just so me.
Yeah.
I didn't, like I said, I never wanted to be an actor. Here it is, bodybuilders, fitness people was mad at me. When I got to LA, they're like, how the fuck he come and booking all this shit? Because when I get in that audition room, I'm going to make them laugh, and I don't give a fuck how I don't take myself serious like that no more, where I got to be this tough. I done did demonic, that's, people don't understand people like me that have did the worst stuff known to man. I don't need to act tough.
No.
I don't, you know what I mean? Because I know in my mind, my capability, what I done did. I don't need to act tough no more. Even though people still, that's why I feel like I'm the most hated in fitness, because I have fun, I laugh, I talk crap, you know what I mean? I might wear some shades in the gym, because I don't give a fuck. I did I'm living to have fun, pray, ask God to forgive me for the stuff I did because of ignorance, trying to get money, and you know. And so, yeah, I have fun, man.
Do you think you're in a place now where you've got that right balance of you're loving what you do and you're sort of, you know, moving in the right path now of your life? You know, have you got that balance of you're doing things that you want and you're excited about it?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. The only thing I'm missing, like I say, when I moved from LA, which it was needed, I needed to recharge and refresh, and which this, you know, moving out here did me a good, you know what I mean? And so, only thing I'm missing now is being back in the acting business.
Right.
You know, which I'm actually about to look at some stuff out here, but I'm still SAG after union and all that stuff. All I gotta do is tell the agents I'm ready again.
So what's some of the goals that you've got now? You know, that you've not.
Big movies.
Big movies.
That's big movies to blow my supplement company up a little more. Cause it been a fun road dealing with this supplement company stuff, you know. And this time period I've been having it, I've seen so many fall.
Really?
Well, you know, and
how do you deal with failure? Because I guess now you're in the business world, you must have things that don't go to plan. How do you deal, you know, if something doesn't go to plan? How do you approach that?
I don't have a plan.
You don't?
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's why I have my hands in. Got the book, got the music, got the supplements, got the merchandise, clothes, videos I'm pumping out. So I was never I was never blessed to just hit hard at something.
No.
To where, ooh, you know how you see some kids on YouTube or the internet just blow up overnight?
Yeah.
I never had that. I've had to work my butt off, which I love. Working make me happy.
Right.
I get that from my mother. She the happiest when she at work. I'm the
Me
same
too.
way.
I
Yeah.
like it.
And so, and we rare people. And so, it's like I didn't expect this to sell 10 million.
10 million you sold.
No.
Oh,
I'm
right.
just saying I didn't
Okay.
expect it to sell 1 million. I don't put no expectations on none of that I do.
No.
I just hustle.
And what do you do? Just like say, I want to do my best work, and if it works, great. If not, I don't care. Is that your attitude?
No, at this point, I'm putting content out.
Right.
I'm gonna put it out there, see what happens.
Right.
I never wanted to be an actor. Let me try this shit. Boom. Oh, okay. I made a few 100,000. Okay. Let me do these YouTube videos. Oh, I can make 5, 10, 20,000 a month. Okay, let's do it. Supplement company.
But you seem to have this. You seem to have this approach though, where you've got high standards at what you put out. Like you're not just like trying stuff. You know, when you do it, you're constantly looking and like, okay, how can I make it better?
Oh yeah, I'm always trying to make it better. That's like my videos. Like I'm like, okay, how can I edit this better? How can I? Yeah, I'm always upgrading because I'm futuristic. So I'm always looking in the future.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's why I'm kind of a pioneer, especially with the social media, YouTube stuff. Like all these new guys, they mimicking what I done led. You know what I mean? But so I'm in the future. I'm always looking to better everything I do. You know what I mean? Even with my physique, businesses, everything. A lot of people didn't understand. Why you lose so much weight and mass? I'm like, to get you talking. When you look at my first videos every year, I'm playing, I'm having fun. Let me lose some weight, fuck with these people. You know what I mean? Like, I have that type mind. And I didn't understand entertainers and people like Kanye West and people that stir up shit. I didn't understand those people before I became popular.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I said, okay, I get it. I see why they, you know, and it's called really being a troll like now. Like, and that's why I tell people, you can't troll me, motherfucker. I'm the biggest troll. I've been trolling on the internet 15 years, motherfucker.
What are they doing then? You say, when they try this stuff, what are they, like Kanye and that? What do you think they're doing?
It's for shock value.
Right.
It's to get people talking. When you see Kanye do most stupid shit, he got an album or something coming out. Some new shoes it's for shock value.
Right.
And the average citizen does not get it. The working 9 to 5 average Joe don't get it. I posted a video the other day, me curling 200. Talking crap. Oh, you should see the comments. What the fuck, this idiot, no proper form, and bro, before that set, I was curling proper as hell. And that's what I tell people. This is entertainment right here. Right. Oh, are you still eating the top ramen and tuna? I say, dude, I do videos of that for kids and youngsters that need high calories. I eat chicken, fish, rice, oatmeal, and eggs every fucking day. I'm a fucking machine. I'm not a foodie. I'm not. And people, it's like all they latch on to something they want to make negative.
Right.
But I show clean eating. I just did a video what I eat in a day, and you know, and they ignore all that, you know, but they want to latch on to something bad or, you know.
So your philosophy is very much now. It's like one, it's positive, so you're moving in a positive direction, and then the other thing you mentioned is that you're just, you know, you try stuff, you put it out there, you don't have expectations. It's not like I need to sell at 10 million. It's like, I'm going to do a really bloody good job at it. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to see what happens.
Right.
And you're going to constantly try and be at the cutting edge, like I guess your gaming and your music and your
Mm-hmm.
and your apparel.
Yeah,
and
because
your
like with music, like I said, I never wanted to do it. But when we did the album, I had to Google how to put my music on iTunes, Apple. I had to Google all that shit. I didn't say, oh, I want to sell 2 million copies, or I just threw it out there. Whatever happened, happened. I never wanted to be an actor. Acting blew up. Never wanted to be famous. Still don't. That shit annoying, bro, and dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm more paranoid in my life now than when I was in the street life. It's insane. Well, I don't like going out, which I've never been a going out type guy, because me and going out was always bad. Like people, I was always buff,
Right.
so they intimidated. And coming from Oakland, I was a shooter.
Right.
So if you come at me wrong, we shooting.
Right.
You know, and so that's what a lot of people don't, understand about me. Till this day, I'm a hothead. So, because I don't take no disrespect. So that's why I stay out of, like
Those
in Vegas.
situations.
I'll never forget. I told Helena, she wanted to go out to the Strip one time. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be problems. No, we'll have fun and we'll. I say, okay, let's do it. Sure, I mean, it wasn't 10 minutes we was out the car. Drunk dude coming, oh, buff guy, I bet I can take you. I said, see,
Yeah.
if you wasn't with me, I would have knocked this motherfucker out, probably stabbed him.
So I guess do you think in some situations then that you've also got to choose, like, choose to not put yourself in situations where, I guess if you're an alcoholic, you choose not to hang out in a bar because you're going to put temptation.
Oh, without a doubt. But I have control. I'm a thinker. I've always been a thinker. That's why I never was stabbed in prison, shot on the street. I've always been a thinker. I'm like a poker player. I never let nobody see I come from a sneaky area. Like all the guys I grew up with, they'll laugh in your face. Oh, bro, it's cool. We partners. Come back and blow your head off. That's just how it came up. Like I never argued or none of that type. Wolfing. I never been that guy. I'm like, okay, bro, it's cool. And just come back. But
what's success for you now then? What is that? What would you say that is?
Success for me gonna be having my kids. But yeah, we've been vlogging all of that.
Right.
Yeah, we doing it. Our vlogging channel about to blow up, cause we've been vlogging the whole process.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, success for me is just having some kids, man. That's only thing I feel that I've been missing in life, and that been making me feel less of a man.
Really?
Yeah, because I want to leave a legacy, leave something behind, man. And other than that, I'm a hustler. I'm gonna make it financially. If I zero out money today, I got so many hustles.
Yeah.
And that's what keep me, able to keep the devil out of my mind. I'm like, bro, shit. All I gotta do is promote my book, promote my music, pop some videos out, do a ad of the hyphy mug. I got ways, you know, and so that's a blessing.
So what are some of the stuff you've got going on? You got your book. Tell us about this. Where can people get it?
Everything for me is KaliMuscle.com.
Okay.
I got the book, which I wrote word for word myself.
Really?
Yeah, and it's great, man. It'll help a lot of people out, and it's on Amazon, it's on digital, and
is there an audio version?
Now audio, all you gotta do is put on your phone and she'll talk to you.
Really?
Yeah. But I have that. I have the music, have the merchandise, the supplements, and all my energy mainly going into the supplements now.
Yeah.
Because I just know, how needed energy is and whatnot.
Do you sell that direct? Do you sell it to
direct,
distributors? Right.
direct. I was on bodybuilding.com, a few other places, but they unethical.
Really?
You know what I mean? They do what they want to do, and you know, they act like people need them more than they need people. So yeah, I'm just direct now.
Right.
Uh-huh.
You know, the final question is, you know, what would be an example of where you've escaped your own personal limits that you've probably set on yourself or other people have set for you, that, you know, probably more memorable that you've done recently?
That's a good question. Well, for me, it was I'll never forget a correctional officer at San Quentin. He was, I mean, this dude, he was awesome, man. He was a comedian. He had a fight with Butterbean and got knocked out, right? So this was like the highlight and the joke that, you know, all the inmates would use against him. But I'll never forget, man. I got out in 2001, and I'm talking about the whole prison. When I used to work out, correctional officers, everybody would come watch me work out, because I would do the muscle ups and all type of tricks on the bar, and you know, I was just like, you know, this phenom. And I remember I got out and came back. He's like, man, I thought you was gonna be one of the ones that made it, man. What happened to the bodybuilding shit you was talking about and all that? And I was like, damn, you know what I mean? And so right then, even though I came back several times after that, but that was like, I'll never forget that. And that kind of made me realize that, damn, I'm going to be a recidivist in prison. You know what I mean? And I knew I was better than that. You know, I knew, you know, society wouldn't let me get jobs because I was an ex-con. I got a job at Bally's in 2000 when I got out from my last prison stint. So I was working at Bally's, so the manager was like, you want to come to what was it called? San Ramon. He said, you want to come to San Ramon with me? And, you know, at this time I had dreads, I think. I was buff, of course. And it's all rich motherfuckers. And they charging like, out in San Ramon, they was charging like $75 a session. So I'm like, heck yeah, right? So I went from San Leandro, I was working. So I go to San Ramon, and all of a sudden I walk in, all the women went crazy. So soon, I'm talking the first day. So the second day, after I caused this uproar, the manager, he was my friend. We was going out to lunch, eat dinner, all types of stuff. He came and sat down, how you are? He said, man, why you didn't tell me you had a record, man? And I'm like, man, I thought y'all would check. He's like, I gotta let you go. So at this point, I can't get a job in the gym, like, you know, in that way.
Right.
And so I was discouraged. I was like, damn, I ain't gonna be able to work nowhere, you know. And so I kind of went to a negative tirade at that time. And so it was like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
No.
And so society was putting these, you know, these roadblocks in the way. But I'm like, at that point, I'm like, okay, I can't work at 24-hour Fitness, can't work at Bally, no regular gym. Fuck it. I'm gonna make me up some cards, flyers, and go pass them out.
Really?
Yeah. And so I made up some flyers and cards, passed them out in a gym that really made me. Diego's Power Alley in Oakland. He let me train my clients there, and he charged me a few, maybe $10, $15, $20 off each client, something like that. So I was able to, you know, personal train and stuff like that. So that was a big, you know, especially for guys that's coming out of jail and whatnot, that's tough for them not be able to get jobs. But, so those limitations, I've always been an overcomer, man. Like, when people, you know, situations like that where I can't work at a gym or something like that, like I would find a way around the way. You know what I mean? Like for me, people be like, "Can you personal train me?" And I make a joke of it, and it's kind of harsh though. I'd be like, "So you want me to walk in the gym with you with my dick in your booty and walk you in there?" I say, "Here it is. I got 1,300 videos as your personal trainer instructing you, not only just on workouts, but life, cooking, what to eat. And you still want me to walk you in the gym, hand to hand. It don't make sense, bro. Like y'all, especially in this day and time, they got it made. You got kids on making millions playing video games. How fucking awesome is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can make an app on your computer and become rich, and there's no excuse in this day and time. I don't care if you got a fucking record. I don't care. That's why I don't have no sympathy really for nobody in this day and time. If you want to make it and be successful and not be led by the devil, there's no excuse.
There's no excuse.
You got all these motivational speakers, Goggin, David Goggin. You got you C.T. Fletcher. You got all this internet people motivating you. Eric Thomas and you, what's our Joe Rogan show? You got all these. What's your fucking excuse? You got these people motivating you on a fucking daily. There's no reason. You know what I mean? And it's no excuse. If I was raised in this day and time when I was 19 and all that, I wouldn't have did what I did.
Really?
Fuck no. You got too much on the internet. You go on World Star YouTube, see motherfucking getting 100 years for doing dumb shit. You know, you could, like, when I have my kids, oh, you want to do this? Okay, let me take them to the internet. Look what this dummy did right here. This could be you. You can show them now. There's no fucking excuse. Well, so yeah, just it's no excuse to for limitations. Yeah. You could Google. People are like, "How can I get rich, Kali?" I say, Google how to be rich. All the fucking steps right there. Take them. Everything.
Do you think people just want someone to do it for them nowadays?
Exactly. Yeah. I tell people, Americans are weak, man. You could get, that's why foreigners come into the country and just over-succeed Americans. They come with that hustle, with that drive. Americans just lazy, bro. And I'm just blessed that I wasn't cut like that. You know what I mean? And people, you know, my comments is the worst, man, with this fitness shit. And it's just people mad at me for working out, motivating, and trying to help them. If that's not twisted, I don't know what is. But same with the story of Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, he was here to help, and they did what they did to him. And, you know, all the other prophets are good people that get assassinated and stuff like that.
And maybe that's for the people that are strong, because I guess not many people, and we talked about it earlier, I guess not many people are prepared to stand up, to not be bothered about what other people will say, regardless of whether it's good or bad, and just continue to say that. You know, you've got to be a certain type of person, and most people aren't, I guess, aren't they?
Yeah, because we can see the suicide rate now. Kids killing themselves because somebody said they ugly on the internet or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is preposterous, man.
But I guess you get a lot of this bullying now on social media, and I guess people, probably young people that maybe not have been, supported to be able to deal with that.
Yeah, yeah, it's insane.
Well, Kali, it's been a fantastic story.
Oh yeah,
I'm very well educated now, and inspired as well. The thing at the end, I think there's no excuse, and a lot of those stories you've said resonate with me. But it's like, look, there's no excuse.
Yeah, it's not. It's no excuse in this day and time, man. And if you want to live a great life, you can. If you want to live a bad life, you can. You know, I watched, what's that show called? Intervention.
Right.
Where you be having people doing all this dope and heroin and meth. And I'm like, man, them people, they choosing to do that. They go get cleaned up. Oh, I feel great. I'm doing, you know. It just, but that's the devil coming in.
Yeah.
It's just easy for the, you know, devil and the demonic spirits to enter people now. And so, you know, stay strong, everybody. Don't let the devil run your life. Yeah.
And your final words, what would you like to sort of say to summarize what we've
Stay focused, stay around positive people. Don't worry about what people saying about you and all that. Take care of your health. Health is wealth, man. It's sad, man, when we see all this cancer and people dying in their 30s of cancer and all these illnesses, all behind food. You know, it's sickening. And once again, I thank God for not making me a foodie. If I didn't have to eat, I wouldn't. You know, I eat to live, I don't live to eat. And, you know, food is killing, most of America. High blood pressure, hypertension, heart problems, all this and that. So take care of your health, man. Don't, you know, these kids ask me, what's your cheat meal, cheat day? I don't cheat on myself. If a motherfucker cheat on themselves, they can't be trusted. It just, man, I promote health and fitness. I promote be against drugs, man. It just, you know, what I'm here to do. That's my purpose. I know my purpose, which I always have.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I've always been a leader, a motivator, inspiring, motivating people. So yeah, man, stay around positive people. Keep negativity out your mind. Don't hate on internet people that's doing something positive. You know, that's sad, man. People that's helping people, they want to go and try to slander them or defame them. I've been attacked the most out of anybody. It's just my background and the stripping and the modeling I did and all this and that. And hey, that's my story. That's why I was able to put it in the book. Most people that these people follow, they don't know nothing about but muscles.
Yeah.
They know nothing, have no substance about them but muscles. I've been through it all. So that's why I can help a lot of people.
Fantastic. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, then please go over to iTunes and subscribe to the Escape Your Limits podcast. Leave a review, leave a comment. It really would help us a lot to continue to keep these going.